Are we ready?
Yes, sir. We are live now.
All right, I'd like to call this meeting of the Board of Education of the City of St. Louis's Governance Committee to order. It's November 4th at 4:01 p.m. It appears from the Zoom that members of the committee, myself and Board Member Weiss are present. And we're being joined by Mr. Timothy Schultz, who is the contract compliance specialist, and is going to talk to us about our policy project. Our first order of business is Ms. Weiss, you prepared meeting minutes from our last meeting. Are you there, Sadie?
I am, yes. Hello, good afternoon.
Okay. It's you and me. I don't see Board Member Jones, but we are a quorum. So if you want to move the minutes from the last meeting, I don't have those in front of me. I looked at them earlier. What was the date of that meeting?
Sure, it was, I had it right in front of me as well. It was June 24th.
Okay, I'll move to approve the June 24th Governance Committee meeting minutes.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. Carries. All right. Well, Mr. Schultz, why we have you here, if you just want to introduce yourself and talk a little bit about what your role is going to be with the ongoing policy project. And if you have questions for us, I've been involved in the policy project for, since it started, and it really has only started in concept, although there's been a lot of behind the scenes work from MSBA, but now we're to the point where we need the district involved for approval. So I'll turn it over to you.
Sure. I'm not sure how much you want to know. What I was tasked with by the superintendent when the school board project was handed out was to review the policies and the procedures, create a team to review them, and then we would go through that as a team to look at each one of the policies and the procedures and determine what, if anything, we want to keep from what MSBA has recommended, or whether or not we want to edit, change, or discard any of those other components. We have our first meeting. I have spent, since I was tasked with this, I've spent time reading every one of the board policies and board proposals. And today I was pursuing Missouri's, in Washington we call them the revised code of Washington, but I think they're the revised code of Missouri here, the various legal statutes that drive some of the work and were referenced in some of the policies, so that I'm up to speed at least on some of that. So if questions come up during the meeting on Wednesday, I can at least ask or go to the policy and the law to talk about those. Sorry about that. So on Wednesday, I will get together with the superintendent and various other members, mostly from finance, our operations chief, our chief of academics. I believe, Mr. Davis, you are also part of that team. And then I printed out the first 7, and then we'll spend the time reviewing them, editing them. And then once those reviews and edits are collected, I will collect them using the Adobe program that they want us to use to make the edits and make the changes. And then we would schedule the next meeting. I don't think we're going to get through all of them in the 4 hours that we have listed, but I did bring at least 7, and I can certainly add a couple more. They're pretty quick to get to. So that's the basic outlines of what I would be doing. I think you're muted.
I got multiple devices going on here. The first set was the finance set.
Correct.
And so, and then after that set is back, and I talked to someone from MSBA on a separate issue last week, and they said that they're heavily involved in human resources personnel to come at us next. So those are two of the big So I guess just from our perspective, from this committee, once that is all hammered out between the administration and MSBA, it needs to come back to this committee for review, and then we will send it on for approval to the full board.
Got it.
Sound like a plan?
Sounds like a plan to me. Absolutely.
Okay. Well, do you have any questions for Ms. Weiss or us, or any other thoughts?
I don't have any questions. I do know that if I'm not mistaken, you reviewed this in 2018. I have a packet from Chief Watson that said this was done, the last time this was done was 2018. And I think that was around real estate. At least that's the information that I have. Is that correct?
I wasn't here in 2018. In fact, their elected board didn't have governance in 2018, so that would have been an SBA project. And so they did do some, but most of those are pretty old. And the thought was that we're now going to be part of the MSBA ongoing policy service. So
Okay.
they'll put out information to their members, but we would not necessarily use them to make recommendations or adopt their updates to policies, because we weren't consistent with their policies. Now, as you said, because we have our own set of statutes for Metropolitan School District.
Yeah, I noticed that.
State of-
That's interesting to me.
Yeah, so that's part of their struggle, is there's some things that they have to customize for us, that is different from urban school districts or every other school district, 7-member school districts. But yeah, there have been some hit or miss. And then also the good thing about the policy project is, as the legislature makes requirements, so since I've been here since 2021, there have been pretty much every year legislative requirements that boards pass policies. So there was one about a lactation policy, there was a seclusion restraint policy, there's a couple other ones that we've had to adopt. Of the community engagement policy that we did last year. And so I don't think there's anything this year that we need to do. But yeah, so I mean, this is going to be a whole new sort of set of it. And so I'm so glad you're here, because one of the things that they've stressed to us from the beginning is, they joke every couple of years, St. Louis Public Schools calls MSBA and say, gosh, help us with these ancient policies. And then they either start working or they ask for collect information, and it kind of goes to die in the district, because as you've seen, it's a massive undertaking. And so my promise to them was, we will see it through, come hell or high water. And so I'm glad you're here, because one of the things that they say that makes success is there needs to be a point person. There needs to be a district appointed editor who's going to get everybody in the room, hammer it out, and meet those deadlines. So,
well, that's what we're doing, at least the first round. The superintendent, yourself, finance, I believe the chief of finance and a few other chiefs will be there, and we'll start hammering out. I think probably 2, maybe 3 meetings would get through finance, depending on the number of questions. Some are really short. There's one in there about political campaigning. It's like 2 paragraphs. That won't take very long. It's pretty straightforward. I'm pretty familiar with it. It doesn't say anything that I'm like, I've never seen that in a school district before. So some of them may go faster than others, but yeah, I'm excited to be a part of this process. It's exciting for me.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Really.
Yeah.
Like Mr. Davis said, it's a massive undertaking. I know you said 2 to 3 meetings. Is there Matt, any deadline set by MSBA, or it's just kind of like ASAP as soon as we can get this through, like in terms of a timeline for this first round?
I mean, they haven't given a deadline. Their only request is that we keep in contact with them and keep it moving. So this is what they've asked for. So I'm sure that after this meeting, we'll be able to give them some feedback so that they can just continue to progress. The deadline really is us. And for us to continue to make it important. I had talked to them about my time, maybe it was a month and a half ago. Just sort of asking them to prioritize finance and procurement, and then human resources, particularly around hiring and compensation. Just because I feel that that's going to be getting out in front of a lot of recommendations from the multiple audits. So, and they agreed. And so, if you remember Pam Fraser from MSBA, who's the finance person, who's been working with finance for the last couple of months, really kind of dug into these based on her just sort of working with finance and asking them questions about where they needed help or where she could provide some advice. And so, we have just sort of that extra layer of expertise and eyes on it than just, oh, we'll look at the policies, we'll look at the law. We actually have some people who've kind of been on the ground working on it. So
Okay.
it's a big deal.
Yep. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Schultz. Well, I appreciate your time tonight.
Okay.
All we wanted is just to sort of get you on record with an update, and I will see you, I guess, on Wednesday, and
Yeah.
we'll be hopefully sooner rather than later. You're coming back presenting policies to send to the board.
Yeah. And again, once we get done on Wednesday, my goal would be to have all the changes made within the rest of the week, and then I will be ready. I don't know when we meet as a governance board, but the next steps we can certainly talk about at that meeting on Wednesday once we put some things to paper. If I just send the edited copies to you, or do we all want to talk and chat? However the next steps are, I'll let you guys decide and just tell me, and I'll move forward with that.
Okay, yeah, great. We meet kind of as needed. So
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah. All right. Well, our only other thing on the agenda is policy. If you want to stay on, Mr. Schultz, just to
Sure.
hear this, because we have been talking about MSBA policy BBE, which is board vacancies. The statute as background under Senate Bill 727, which was passed last legislative session, which was the education omnibus voucher expansion, a lot of finance portions. Part of that was something that's been on there for 2 years, which is to change the statute on how metropolitan school district, as well as an urban school district, so Kansas City Public Schools and St. Louis Public Schools, how we would fill board vacancies. Our two districts were the only districts where board vacancies were not filled by the board. So that law changed. So we're now consistent with every other school district, but we don't have a policy for doing that. So MSBA has a policy board BBE. And we talked about this last time, Ms. Weiss. And again, I wish I had your minutes, which I, for some reason, saw the other day and I can't find them. But we discussed about taking out the paragraph that talked about other schools, that talked about county commissions and things like that. Did we have that in the minutes, correct?
Yeah, I think so. I'm pulling them up right now.
And Mr. Schultz, do you have access to the whole sample policies from Missouri School Board Association?
Excuse me, the ones for finance?
Well, no. So on their website, if you have a login, you can look at their sample policies.
Oh, I don't have a login for MSBA. I have the zip file of all the finance ones and then their instructions. I don't have that.
We probably need to figure out a way to get that to you.
Yeah, I would not know who to contact on that.
We'll find somebody for you.
Okay, that would be great.
And Matt, yeah, we had Bree had made some changes. And then we were going to review it at this meeting, I believe. That's what it's in the notes. That Bree will make changes and send to Mr. Davis so we can approve. Don't know if she sent those to all of us or if she or if we need to pull it up again to take a look and review.
I don't see them.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have that.
Let's see.
Well, here are the changes I had. Let me pull it back up. Do you have a copy
Okay.
of the?
I think I have it from last time.
Oh no, wait a minute. I found it. Sorry.
Okay.
He sent it to us on June 30th.
It was from Bree, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Brittany Hammond.
Yeah. Okay, yep, I have it pulled up.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And yeah, so she's got everything on there that I saw. So um so in the first paragraph, it just takes about it changes it to basically the remainder of the term, which is consistent with the statute, how the vacancy will be filled. Someone will fill it for the remainder of the person's term that they fill, not until the next election. That's again consistent with our statute. Taking out the second paragraph about county commissions, we don't have such a thing. Changing the next one to just say in the event of vacancy, the following process will be used. Okay, 1 second. Go through the process. And the process is just basically it will be advertised, it'll be done in an open session. And then the part about swearing in, once appointed, a person becomes a board member by signing the oath in front of a circuit judge. So again, that's consistent with our statute. Everybody else just takes the oath and signs it. We need the circuit judge. So if that looks good to you.
And then notification of legal responsibilities, is that still?
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
again, that's just a requirement under the law that you have to do.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. If we are, I guess we can vote on them today and then send it to the full board. Is that what?
That is correct. So
Yeah.
if we recommend these changes, then we can we'll try to get it on the November meeting schedule. So that's on the 12th.
Right.
So I'll move to recommend model policy BBE as amended at the 6/24/24 meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Uh,
All right, so we will recommend that. All right, is there any other business or anything else that we want to discuss?
we had on the agenda, Matt, was the board self-evaluation, but I know Janet
Right.
Tilley, she had sent the email with the link to the survey and then proposed those 2 dates and said she would send out a poll. But I haven't seen the poll yet, so I'm assuming we'll get that from her to move forward with that meeting time, that 3-hour meeting time.
Right. So Janet Tilley and Catherine Whitaker of the Missouri School Board Association, the board trainers, sent out to the board and Dr. Borsch a board self-evaluation that we talked about for a while. And then the next step is to have a board retreat to discuss those results. And we're just waiting to hear back from the dates. It's been difficult scheduling everybody. And I think last time I talked to Janet, she said, you know what, it's probably just going to have to be a date, and it might not be everybody, unfortunately, because it's just impossible at this point.
Yeah, as many members as we can get in the room.
Yeah, and Dr. Borche.
Yeah.
So that's good. That's moving forward, and we got to delegate that as well to our friends of the Missouri School Board Association.
Yes.
Okay, well, if there's not anything else, I will move to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
All right.
Aye. All right, we are.